Whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought I had more time. I was trying to take down my own creep pipe before we got into it. But listen, hit that subscribe button. Will here back. Detroit Den 313. Getting ready to talk that Detroit Lions content. As you can see, my boy Steve is not here today. I'm rolling solo. Holiday weekend. Just had that new princess. She had to do her rounds for the holiday, which is understandable. People want to see her. People want to see her. So Steve taking a break today. He'll be back tomorrow, so don't panic. I know he's the comedy, he's the laughs of this equation. So I'll try not to bore you guys too much, but we're going to talk some Detroit Lions content. But before we do, please do not forget about the members giveaway. The super members, we're going to be doing that helmet at 30. Could potentially be some extra goodies if the two people that we need, Teresa Ruckel and Greg Kellogg, don't get a hold of us. I believe Steve gave you to Tuesday. The clock is ticking. So if you guys don't take care of business, this super giveaway is going to be a little bit bigger. Also, the jerseys for our other two tiers, it's always up for grabs. So make sure. Just hit that subscribe button. If you don't want to be a member, you just want to subscribe, that's free. You don't have to pay nothing to do that. Listen, not required, highly recommended, and we appreciate it. So, to the business of this thing. Today I spent my day, typical for me, football camp. I was at a football camp today. Jordan Lewis, past Michigan Wolverine, was in town doing an absolutely free football camp. My son plays for Jordan Lewis's 7-on-7 team, so most of his 7-on-7 team was out there as well. So got an opportunity to meet Jordan Lewis today and be a part of his awesome camp. These are my two boys right here, my youngest, and then my 10-year-old with Mr. Jordan Lewis doing their drug pledging to be drug-free. So he put on an awesome camp, and we had a great time. My 17-year-old was also out there. They had 2 sessions, but I won't bore you with that stuff. The reason why I'm talking about it and the reason why that is pertinent is this. They had the camp at Two Corner Park, right? And if you know anything about Two Corner Park, that's like a PAL headquarters, right? Detroit Police Athletic League. And on the wall, they got all of the players that are from PAL. And then they also have a section for players that are from the city. And I was looking through that list of players and I was like, man, number one, it's just so many of them, which is pretty cool. But as I was going through that list of players, I happened to come across none other than Super Bowl champion Avante Maddox from King, man, from King High School. You know what I mean? Crusaders, stand up if you're with me, man. Stand up, drop something in the comment if you were a Crusader. But it just got me to thinking, man, I don't hear much about Avante Maddox. When we signed him, I heard a little bit, but I haven't heard much since then. And I think he's a sleeper. He's a sleeper. Now, is he a sleeper in the sense that I think that he is going to be starting day one at that nickel position? No, I don't necessarily think that he'll be starting. I think he'll be in a conversation. But what I do think is if anybody from the nickel to the safeties need to mix time, I would be 100% okay with Avante Maddox going out there. I think he's underrated. I think people don't really understand his versatility. He's a guy that can play doggone anywhere in the secondary. This is a guy who was on the field for the Super Bowl. So the trust that I have in putting him out there is just second to none. And I think it's just so important. Him and one other piece I'm going to talk about today. But when I look back on the Detroit Lions the past couple of seasons, I think that it's come down to the depth of our team, us coming up short. Because we've had situations where in the last 2 seasons, both 2 seasons, we've had situations where this guy was on the field, Kendall Vildor. And say what you want about him. He got out there and he competed. I'm not here to beat him up, but I don't want to live in a world to where my Super Bowl hopes are contingent upon Kendall Vildor. No disrespect to him. Appreciate what he did in Detroit, fighting hard, doing what he could to the best of his ability. But I would much prefer that Avante Maddox would have been out there rather than Kendall Vildor. And I know that's not necessarily the situation, but there's some other players that another player that I'm going to get to too. that I would have much rather would have been out there rather than Kendall Vildor. So I think the depth of the Detroit Lions is gotten much better. When we get to our second tier and third tier guys, they're no longer going to be Kendall Vildor. Say if Terrion gets banged up, you're not going to be looking at Kendall Vildor. If DJ Reed gets banged up, you're not going to be looking at Kendall Vildor. If they both get banged up, you're not going to be looking at Kendall Vildor. And I don't even think you'll be looking at Khalil Dorsey either. Nothing against him. He got out there too and he competed. I know he got banged up. He'll be back, but you're not going to be looking at him here. Now, a few people will have to get hurt, I believe, before you'll be looking at Dorsey. And I think that's a great thing. That is a great thing for the Detroit Lions. But I think it's been underrated because these are names that I'm not hearing. If you are a true Blue Lions fan and you watched our defense get decimated last year with injuries, you have to appreciate having a guy who was playing in the Super Bowl as a reserve coming off of the bench. That's special. And him running down and competing on special teams. So a guy who was actually on the field playing nickel in the Super Bowl is going to be out there competing on special teams. Our special teams is going to be special, for lack of a better word. Like it's going to be a big deal seeing those guys out there. So Avante Maddox, man, for one, welcome home. I was hoping at the camp today I would have seen him out there so I could have, try to rub some elbows a little bit. There was a whole lot of NFL guys and there was a lot of University of Michigan graduates that are, I'm sure, fans of or friends of Jordan Lewis, as well as our coach, our 7-on-7 coach, who also graduated from the University of Michigan, Raymond Taylor. There was a lot of guys out there, but unfortunately, Avante was not there. I was looking. I was hoping that maybe we could get him on the show, or maybe I could pick his brain, but wasn't the case. But maybe we'll catch up. There's a lot of camps this year. I go to a lot of things. If you guys got any connections, please plug me and Steve. We would love to have somebody on the Detroit Lions team on the show. But moving forward, sleeper number two is a guy who has a little bit of beef here with the Detroit Lions and one of our players. But I think that he will be another excellent piece that contributes to us not having to go to guys like Kendall Vildor if we need to lean on a reserve in our secondary. I'm going to load in a clip to make you understand what I mean by has a little beef with one of the Detroit Lions, a pivotal Detroit Lions. So I'm interested to see how these interactions go with these two in camp. Here we go. I hate to see it. I hate to see St. Brown getting flipped over like that. I hate to see that, but hey, St. Brown got up. He shoved him, and they went after a little bit, and they got after it all game. But you see none other than Rock Ya-Sin there. Rock Ya-Sin is a guy who's a big, strong, physical corner that he's not a guy that you're looking to support the run. That's just, you can't have it all from a reserve guy, but he's a guy who absolutely will get after it in the passing game. You can send him out on an island to go compete. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he's strapping everybody and he's a lockdown corner by any means, but you can put him out there against anybody to compete. I remember him and J-Mo locked up man-to-man, J-Mo on a go ball, and he ran in face. And it wasn't stride for stride. J-Mo's fast. Now, J-Mo was edging him, but J-Mo wasn't blowing by him. He stayed in phase, and ball was underthrown slightly. He got back, broke up the pass. He was out there competing. Hey, if you can run with J-Mo, you can play in this freaking football league. Like, bottom line, this is a guy who's played with multiple teams. So that interests me. So when I say multiple teams, that interests me. As we look at this now, was drafted second round by the Indianapolis Colts, 3 seasons with them, then goes to the Raiders. Here's what interests me. His last 2 seasons, the Ravens, San Francisco 49ers. If you can play on those two defenses, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. If you can start football games for those two defenses, you're doing something right. So Rock Ya-Sin is somebody that I've talked about it when it comes to guys like Zadarius Smith, when it comes to guys um like who was the other guy I want? I'm losing my thought here. Who was the other? Matthew Judon. I'm losing my mind here. Steve, see what happens when I don't have you. But Matthew Judon. When it comes to those two guys playing opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, potentially maybe wanting to get one of them because of Marcus Davenport's injury past, it makes me think to myself, man, it was insurance. That's the same thing that I feel like we did in our secondary. Coach Holmes seen an issue with depth there, and he wouldn't got insurance. So if DJ or Terrion or Meek, needs to miss some time, there's plug and plays right behind him, right? Hey, Avante Maddox can play anywhere in that secondary. Boom, no problem. Hey, if a Meek goes down in that nickel, Avante can roll in there. If Brian Branch is missing that safety, Avante can roll up in there. Kirby Joseph, same thing. He can roll in there. It's the same thing with Rock. If one of these corners go down, it's going to be Ennis Rakestraw. Hey, if we miss Ennis Rakestraw, then it's going to be Rock, probably, most likely, man. There's a guy to plug in this secondary, wherever it goes, that is not the caliber of a Kendall Vildor. And like I said, he gets beat up enough. I'm not here to just bust up Kendall Vildor. But the facts are the facts, man. Like, he did have just a tough situation out there with the San Francisco 49ers. But I do think if that's Rock, man, the ball doesn't bounce off his face. And that's just the bottom line. You know what I mean? I do think if Rock was out there at corner, we wouldn't be having those huge bubble plays where guys are just, marching down the field. He's gonna be able to play press man and compete at the catch point of those short plays that Scary Terry was getting behind the line of scrimmage, let alone the plays downfield. He's gonna compete man-to-man coverage. So for those reasons, I think this is a huge deal. And I don't understand why these two guys aren't getting talked about more. These depth pieces aren't just normal depth pieces. These are starters in the NFL. These are guys that have a history starting in the NFL. So I think that these are two key Detroit Lions that aren't getting enough hype. We're talking about the draft picks. We're talking about like guys like Isaac Tesla, right? We're talking about guys like that. And while I can appreciate where I think that he can go potentially, Mr. Hassanin, he's another one. I can appreciate where he can go potentially. These are two guys that are going to make impacts in 2025, 2026 season where we're trying to go on a Super Bowl run. We're not talking about where they'll be 2 years from now, 3 years from now. No, these are guys that I guarantee are going to have to make an impact this season. Somebody gets banged up, those guys are plug and plays. You're not wondering, hey, is this guy? Is he going to be able to hold up? Is he going to be able to compete? Is he going to be okay? No, you're going to look and be like, hey, Avante Maddox just won a Super Bowl, was on the field for it. He wasn't on the bench for it. Hey, Rock Ya-Sin's been with the Baltimore Ravens defense, hasn't missed a beat. Oh, and he competed with a guy like St. Brown, didn't miss a beat. Oh, he was with that San Francisco 49ers defense, didn't miss a beat. These are two guys that are going to make training camp a bloodbath. Like Brad Holmes says, he loves for training camp to be an iron sharpens iron environment. And these are also two guys that are going to be competing for starting jobs. They're not just going to lay down now. And when the time comes, I don't know, is it Ennis Rakestraw or is it Rock Ya-Sin? That these jobs aren't given away. You know what I mean? Hey, is it going to be, Ennis Rakestraw going to that slot position? All right. Or is it going to be Avante Maddox? You know what I mean? So is it going to be Dan Jackson going to them safety positions? All right. Is it going to be Avante Maddox? So these are going to make training camp bananas. Can't wait for it. I'm going to try to make as many training camp practices as I can. And the ones that I can't, I'm going to try to grab tickets for. and maybe it'll be another thing that we auction off here at Detroit Den 313 for our subscribers and members. So put it in the comments, guys. I want to know, how are you feeling about these two guys? Or do you think that these are sleepers that are going to contribute to the Detroit Lions? Or do you think that I'm just, maybe I'm putting too much sauce on these guys? Stick around, hit that like button. Me and Steve will be back tomorrow with another show.